It was excellent.
We can do Outriders because the demo's coming out in a few weeks, right?
Ooh.
Are we playing that
Yeah.
on PC? I meant to ask you guys that.
We can. It is totally cross-platform. So if I play on PC, I
Oh,
can play with you on anything else.
okay. I'm just gonna do it on PlayStation. My laptop's not gonna be good enough to play it.
Okay. Well, since it's looking like I'm not going to get a PlayStation anytime within the next 3 to 4 months, I was
At
thinking about
least.
just slapping the cash that I've been saving down,
Uh-huh.
um, and getting my PC. Um, because as much as I like my gaming setup, I don't like sitting in the same chair that I sit in for 8 hours a day
Yeah.
to have fun. So I could hook that up to my TV and just not be in my office.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You could
tis
totally
a
do that.
possibility.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what I do. My laptop's just hooked up to my TV, and I'm sitting here in my living room, looking at my 60-inch monitor.
Yeah, that's what I do with all my stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we are live. So if we want to check how we sound and whatnot, I think we can start
Let's see here.
flapping our mouth holes.
Flappida, 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 flappida. All right, let's go live with this.
I forgot who we were for a second.
Nobody important, at least right now.
All right, well, I sound great. Everyone else, give me your most potent phrase.
Potent? I don't know about potent. I'm glad the last year's over.
Yeah,
Thank
really.
God.
Give me your tongue twister, your warm up.
She sells by the seashore.
That ain't bad. I don't know what I was gonna
Okay.
say. I was gonna try and think of something in Latin, but I didn't think of anything in time. So here we are.
Carpe diem, bitches.
All right, I think we sound pretty good. Arcadis, you're a little low, but
A little low.
not
Well,
bad.
I don't know if I can do much about that. Actually, here I think I might be able to do something about that. I will click my microphone up one. There we go.
Yeah, you sound.
That's
all
about
right
all
to
I
me.
can do.
Are we ready to go?
Let's hit it.
Ready to do the thing? Hey, you guys! It's a podcast. It's the first of 2021. We are officially living in the future. That's also not the future. And we figured we'd get something out there because we haven't
Start the year off fresh.
podcasted in over a month. The last one that we did was December 23rd.
Feels longer than that.
Yeah. And, I guess we had to make it known that we are still alive. This is still something that we are interested in doing. So, here we're doing a podcast. I'm Scorch. Arcadia Zero is here. Fast Empires, our listmaster, is also here. We're all lovely and wonderful people, but sometimes you wouldn't know it.
Fun fact.
What do we want to talk about, you guys?
Man.
There's
Start
so
with the game
much
stuff before we
gaming
roll into
yeah.
current event news.
Yeah, let's hit it because that's the big thing in the news right now, and it's been very, very interesting.
Quite. Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly don't know where to start with everything.
Well, just throwing it out, the next podcast we will do a year-end review since last year's a little bit on the chaotic side, and we will recollect ourselves with a decent conversational list to come, but not for this cast.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
Gotta
Though I
prep
think
for that.
you've cursed us in saying that we will for sure be doing the review next podcast.
I said maybe.
All right.
Maybe.
Okay.
Nothing set in stone. We got to come out of last year and fresh and careful, tiptoeing lightly,
Oh my
gingerly.
gosh. Looking around every single corner with a mirror before going over.
Oh my goodness.
So the GameStop saga.
Oh, that
right
GameStop
into it,
saga. Okay, I guess we'll hit current events first then.
All right.
I find the entirety of the GameStop stonk saga
The
hilarious.
game stonk.
Game stonk saga hilarious only if to teach all of those greedy mother truckers in Wall Street a lesson where they get to finally have their own game played against them and they hate it.
So before we go too far, can we have a rundown of what has happened and what is currently happening with all of this, just as a
Oh,
primer?
right.
Yeah, in
So,
case you've been under a rock,
yeah,
this is what's going on with GameStop,
sure,
Wall
sure.
Street, and
So
GameStop stock.
I watched quite a few videos on it, so I am by no means a financial expert, but I will summarize the gist of what is happening here. So, I guess we'll start with what the heck is a short, because essentially that's the core of what has been happening. So, in the world of stocks, you obviously buy and sell on the value of a company that goes up and down with the current economy. That's like a normal stock trade. Pretty sure everyone knows what that is. Well, a short is almost kind of like the inverse of that, where people will bet collateral stocks they have against another stock that they believe is going to go down or up, basically the opposite of what the market trend is. Now, it is a more higher risk maneuver to do, but it also means that it's more lucrative in money making. But part of that risk of a short is that you have to provide basically you provide a stock value that you don't own, and then upon completion of the short you get the difference made up from the loss side of that stock. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, and again, I'm not going to claim to be a financial expert, but that's essentially what it is in super dumbed down layman's terms.
It's a complicated
um,
way of saying, I think this stock is going to deteriorate. Let's bet against it. Okay, we've bet
Correct.
against it. We have to ensure that that stock goes down, or else we're going to lose money.
Correct. And obviously in terms of insuring is hard to do, but one of the big, hooplas about this that isn't super publicized but is still well known is that lots of these big time investors get together to essentially, short the same stocks, and the conglomerate we know as the hedge funds. These hedge funds get together and agree that certain stocks will go down, and they can collectively, you know, when you have more assets to short for, you can make more money, which is why they collectively collaborate on this stuff pseudo unofficially. I say that because sometimes some people do officially talk about it, but it's not super widely talked about. Anyways, with the summary of that out of the way, GameStop has not been doing great over the last couple years. It has essentially been a dying company with a lot of games moving into the digital age. There's just
Mm-hmm.
fewer hands to be exchanged when it comes to physical game mediums and things like that. So it's not been doing good. So a bunch of these hedge fund managers are like, yes, this GameStop stock, which did do pretty good back in its heyday. They're now like, yep, it's totally going to be garbage. And all these hedge funds got together and started doing shorts against GameStop. Well, some longtime Redditors and nostalgic, I want to call it generationals of the GameStop era, did not like the fact that these Wall Street people were essentially betting on one of their favorite places and memory creators of video games throughout their livelihoods and childhoods growing up, basically being snuffed out by the Wall Street market. So instead, a bunch of Redditors with a lot of time on their hands, some newfound money on their hands due to probably a good portion of them, from my understanding, receiving some of the stimulus stuff,
Oh,
decided, nah, nah, we're not going to let GameStop go down. And we are now basically going to teach Wall Street a taste of their own medicine. And they all collectively collaborated to buy tons of GameStop stock, which by making the stock value go up it actually creates a reverse effect for these hedge fund companies that have betted shorts against the company and has created a terrible domino effect before. So that domino effect, this is what that domino effect means. The fact that they had to collateral against the shorts that these hedge funds did against GameStop means that the higher GameStop stock goes up, the more collateral they now have to expand in order to counter the difference of loss of the short that's going the wrong direction. So what is actually happening right now in the market is that hedge funds are losing billions of dollars because the short that they bet is not happening and it's going the other way. So these hedge funds now actually have to sell off good stock in their portfolios in order to get liquidated assets to front more collateral in this ever spiraling short that they made against GameStop. And the more shares that get bought with GameStop and the higher that stock value goes up, the more collateral these hedge funds have to pull out of their portfolios to match the difference to avoid a loss. And that is what has Wall Street eating their underwear right now in terror at how out of control this GameStop spiraling fiasco has gone. So much so that platforms that are propped up by some of these larger, I don't want to call them financial entities like Robinhood, which has been the big one under fire, they stopped allowing people to purchase GameStop stock in an effort to help the hedge fund groups, which partially fund the platform that is Robinhood. So this is a typical scenario of the people who pay the paychecks are the ones who get the final say, which has a lot of kickback coming out from the community because that is deemed right now as market manipulation. Now, they're going to argue both sides of the fence that market manipulation's been happening, long time before this, and this is not exactly the first instance of this happening, but this is the first flagrant instance against normal stock buyers that are not these big hedge funds, that are not these big corporations,
What they call
essentially
dumb
making
money.
Yep.
yes, these people are making their own financial decisions, they're not tied to anyone. And essentially, the hedge funds are super upset that they are being beat at their own game and losing essentially all the profit they've made over. And one article that I read over the last decade of shorts has essentially been erased. All the profit from that has been erased in this single instance of the GameStop stock skyrocketing to the moon. And that's kind of the summary of it. And
Here, the
with
99%.
and here with Robinhood busting people out, it created enough of a stir that the SEC, the federal government, is now turning their eye to Robinhood. Basically, told them, "We're watching you." But the problem that people still have is that our new Treasury Secretary was paid an $800,000 plus speaking fee, I believe it was, to these hedge funds that are trying to fight against the common man in partner with Robinhood. It is a seriously dicey situation, and that's kind of the latest of where things sit right now. But since the SEC started looking at Robinhood, they said, "Oh, well, you can buy like one share per day." Or something stupid like that. Basically, you're not allowed to openly do what you want on the market like you're supposed to in a free open market.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, they are still very much under fire and under scrutiny, and there is some big time lawsuits going towards Robinhood for this type of manipulation. And on the side, Google removed 100,000 negative reviews from Robinhood in order for its
Oh
statistical
yeah, I read about
slant
that.
to not move, thereby maintaining Robinhood's good app status in their store. Stew on that for a minute. So there's a lot of hands at play, a lot of money at play, and a lot of underhandedness at play.
Well,
and it is
So
just an all-around sour situation.
Robinhood
So,
also announced that they are limiting stock buys on other similar companies to GameStop as well. Like I know
oh,
that
they
they
had
are
to.
now limiting
Yeah,
like AMC and a few
BlackBerry,
others.
yes.
Macy's, Nokia.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
I
yep,
guess I
yep.
didn't preface that. So GameStop is just the forerunner company that's kind of causing the stir, but there are a lot of those companies that the hedge funds also shorted against. It's not just GameStop, but basically, GameStop just happens to become the centerpiece because has the greatest dichotomy amongst those other names. But yeah, it's still correct. A lot of the other companies that were slated by these hedge funds to basically get snuffed out of business, like the movie theaters that have taken a hit during COVID, a lot of the big box stores that have taken a hit during COVID, they've all had shorts brought against them. So that same scenario is exactly the same for those other companies. And the hedge fund people are losing their minds because now they're forced to sell stock, like I said, that is actually doing really good in order to pay for the damage being done against their hedge funds.
I do want to just break in really quick and do a couple of clarification things just to make
Sure, sure,
sure
sure.
that everyone is on board. One, we keep on mentioning Robinhood. Just for anyone who's not aware, it is a um, app that allows individual um, investors to invest in the stock market from their phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be pretty easy and safe to use. And it was the main place for people who say didn't have a IRA or doesn't have, direct access to the stock market to put
You
money
also
in.
don't need a brokerage license or
Yeah,
anything like that.
that's
So
part of
it's a
the
Right. You
big
common
just
man
deal.
app. Yep. It is a common man application.
And I
and
also
since it's
use
so
it.
easy,
So
oh, you do.
I do. I am treating
Uh,
the stock market, and I've had stocks for a couple of years, but I've been treating the stock market like a gigantic fucking like slot machine, and have just
mhm.
put in like a small amount of money in companies that I'm kind of interested in, and I'm just letting it stew and seeing what happens. But
The long game.
yeah, I'm
See,
playing long, so.
I've never used Robinhood, although I've had a couple of friends. I have a really good girlfriend um, whose boyfriend is a day trader, and so she tried to get me into Robinhood. But I've been using Acorns, which is like an application that kind of lets you buy into mutual funds. Even though I
Mm-hmm.
have my own IRA, before I got like a big girl job, I had Acorns, and so I was just putting a little bit of money in there every month. But it doesn't. Acorns doesn't allow you to get individual stocks like Robinhood does, right? So that's one. Two, just to add some numbers, some context to this. As of this past Friday, GameStop stock was up 1,587% since the beginning of January.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
So, like a year ago, it cost, because we actually talked about this in our podcast.
we
We
did.
Yeah, we
talked
did talk
about,
about GameStop stock.
yeah, GameStop stopped sliding underneath the $10 mark. It was about $4 a year ago. Now it's about 150. Although if I look right
My
now, I think
gosh.
GameStop stocks are like 353,
Oh, it's stupid. Oh yeah,
$353.
it's going to the moon right now. It's not
And
stopping.
so that's like huge. And then of course the other ones that are being forwarded by Wall Street Bets, which is the Reddit community we were referring to, is AMC, BlackBerry, Macy's, and Nokia. Although I don't think the Nokia stock is going anywhere. I did see that AMC stock price was about the $3 or $4 mark about 2 weeks ago, and now it's up to $13. And so I think everyone is thinking that AMC is going to be the next big bet. And AMC certainly thinks so because they released like $600 million worth of stock into the market.
Oh my
Oh
god.
wow.
So they're
Um,
betting on this
They're hoping.
revolution
They
here.
want it to happen. They
they're
want it to
hoping.
happen.
But
Wow.
see, here's the thing. I need to go. I should probably just look up the article right now. But I think it was Thomas Friedman with the New York Times, or maybe it was like one of the groups with the guys from the Motley Fool, which is a um, financial like blog website, something like that. talked about AMC actually made a mistake. They should have waited, and if they had waited, they would have made 900 million. You have to go and look at that one. It was a really interesting article, but I don't remember the details. And there was one other thing that I wanted to bring up, which is the use of the stimulus check as the only reason why people on Wall Street bets are able to invest in the stock market. I kind of am like really leery about that narrative. Part of it is coming through on memes, which is hilarious. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who did maybe invest some of their stimulus money into that. However, it's being used in the media by people who are speaking out against Wall Street bets and the dumb money that's taking over the markets right now as reasons why like stimulus checks for average Americans should not be sent out. And I think that's incredibly dangerous because there are so many people in the US right now who are out of jobs, whose businesses have shut down, mom and pop shops, restaurants, that have been in business for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years have been shut down because of our pandemic response, right?
Yeah.
And so they actually need the stimulus money. Other countries have been supporting their working class. I'm talking UK, Canada, Australia, right?
New Zealand.
US, New Zealand. The US, everyone got about $1,200 and then another $600, which is nice to receive your tax money back, but it really hasn't done enough to support those people who are facing things like food insecurity and homelessness because even though there's a moratorium on evictions, it's just still a mess, guys. It's still a mess.
Yeah.
And so I just really want to push back against that, even though it's, again, the memes are hilarious, taking my stimmies to the stock market. Okay, I get it, but when those memes are being used in such a way, I just want to make sure that it's very clear that while it could have happened and it probably did happen, it is not the only way that people were investing in this.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and again, the media loves to blow things out of proportion, but they can't broad stroke these couple of people doing something silly with their money and conflate that with the other people that need it for actual life events, not for just fun money. I mean, some people probably had their finances more in order, but still were under the threshold to receive the check versus other families that just straight up needed it. So you're going to have a mix. It's a melting pot. Like you can't take a broad swipe at one group and say, no, we just can't have this at all anymore. It's like, no. Stop being stupid. Hold on a second. And you have to bring it into perspective again. But it has been a contributor to this fire, but I'm not going to at all claim it's the source of what enabled this fire to start. Because, again, you're talking to people that are doing this largely because of nostalgia. They're going to put money in it regardless of whether the government gave them anything or not. Now, the amount that they put in might have deferred, but this same exact thing would still have happened because you still have people that have done nothing but sit at home all day and research stuff, find interests that they otherwise would never have had before. And a lot of those people learned more about the stock market. And they probably up and decided together, oh, we're going to take our nostalgia-infused rage and teach those Wall Street guys a lesson. And here we are.
I think the other funny thing that's come out of this are some of the memes that I've seen are like during the early days of the pandemic, one of the biggest games was Animal Crossing. So they were making the connection that so many people were learning about stocks through Animal Crossing and like the price of, I don't know, pears or something like that.
Because there's money and economics. There's
a certain level of economics that you actually do apply in Animal Crossing.
Well, yeah, and sure.
Then
but are you serious?
And then you
Guys,
can't outgame a gamer. Like I said, it was a meme. It was just a really funny meme.
An airplane currently spotted flying over the Robin Hood HQ with the banner reading in all caps, "Suck my nuts." Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, that is breaking news right now.
Right now, you heard it here first.
Worldnewsera.com.
Oh, I guess the only other like disclaimer thing that I'll say is that
Oh.
if you are out there and you're thinking to yourself, "Oh, I do have some cash. I have this money that I was thinking about investing in stocks. What should I do? Should I put my money in GameStop?" Well, right now probably not because it's up really
Yeah,
high, so your returns won't be that
it's at
good.
the moon.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the moon. Should I put my money in like
Getting there.
BlackBerry or AMC or Nokia or Macy's or the other things that Wall Street bets are trying to run up? If you get in early and get out at the right time, yes, but the stock market is a huge gamble. So just be
Yeah,
really
that's exactly what
aware.
stocks are. Stocks are gambles.
Also, you
Be
guys,
careful with what you do.
we have like disclaimer. We are not economics professionals.
No,
We are not
no, I
economists.
said that prior.
Do
We're
not
observers.
take our
No.
our conversation as like
Knowledgeable in any way.
Yeah.
This is summarily.
this is
Just
so-
story told summarily.
we are three friends sitting digitally on the same couch talking about bullshit. All right.
Yes.
This isn't us being knowledgeable in any way.
No, which is why
Okay.
this is why which is where I was going with this. Like, if this is something that you have been reading about or you're hearing here on our podcast and you like those names, just be really, really careful with your investments. Pay close attention because eventually the bubble will burst. And if you can, I guess the rule of thumb is if you can afford to put money in, you can afford to lose it. But if you can't afford to lose money, then just be really, really careful.
Now, something I do want to bring up, which to play a slight devil's advocate to these Redditors, this will overall cause a small dip in the economy. Again, if you remember what I said, that these retarded hedge fund guys are having to sell off good stocks in order to make up the loss. Well, when they do that, that means normal companies start to become incrementally devalued from where they realistically were. So a lot of people, obviously from the outside looking in that have done this for a living are saying, this is definitely detrimental to the economy. It's causing dips where it shouldn't cause. And while I actually would tend to agree with that, and it could cause a sort of semi-burst of the economy, it's still going to be fine. The world will not end, and these hedge fund people are going to be eating their shorts when this is all said and done. So
So
this is concerning for a lot of financial people, but at the same time, it's going to have an end and a resolution. It's not going to happen forever. It is a short-term effect, if you will. There will be billionaires made overnight, but that's beside the point. That it's going to self-correct, but the problem is that could have untold repercussions to other companies that actually were doing fine.
okay, so really quick on that note, can we talk about history repeating itself real quick?
Are we
Sure.
about to start
You mean like
talking about the
2008?
boom and bust of the 20s, the 1920s?
Look, I'm just saying that there was a global pandemic with the Spanish influenza. Oh, I don't know, 100 years ago, and not immediately following, because there are other things that were going on right now, like end of the the
Yeah.
First World War.
Kind of a big deal.
But then we went into the Roaring '20s with
Uh-huh.
huge gains across the stock market. Are we
Yes.
seeing like a repeating pattern here?
I would say we might be, because stock markets are cyclical by nature, and the statistical odds of meeting the same type of cycle at some point in time is present. So I could say it's probably comparable. Maybe not in the same way, maybe not in the same view or limelight, but yeah, I could
Well,
say that there might be a little bit of repeat there.
if you want to take it a bit further, all of that was also preceded by heavily nationalist agendas and deregulation of market economy. So,
Ooh, using the big words. I love it.
so you know that's the thing. That's the thing, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So be careful out there with your cash.
Yeah, definitely. Do we want to talk about something else?
Yeah, what's next on the list?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
wait
just
a
the
minute,
latest
we
current
don't
events.
have a list.
We don't have a list.
We'll just wing it.
We
I'm gonna get my sad news out of the way.
Oh yeah, about
All right.
343?
343 Industries made an announcement, just not but recently. They have decided, in their infinite wisdom, that a longtime weapon of the Halo franchise is going away.
Oh no.
And it is our misfortune that that hammer falls on the beloved 8-gauge pump action single fired shotgun.
Okay,
The
wait,
Halo shotgun.
wait.
Yeah,
You're
okay.
telling me
I know it's a lot to take in. Hold on, I'll finish.
Hold on. Yeah, you're telling me that I cannot any longer in Halo multiplayer go buck wild.
This is a semi-true statement. So, what they have decided to do is remove the shotgun, which they claim was hardly ever used, end quote. Of course, I don't know how you can I don't know how you can claim that when there's literally a game type called Shoddy Snipes where you only use the shotgun and you only use the sniper rifle. Okay, whatever. I'll get off that. So instead, they have decided to insert a different shotgun called the Bulldog that shoots faster and holds a couple of rounds in rapid fire succession. They are claiming that it will balance the game out, or whatever the hell they want to bring up as an excuse. But the point of this whole thing is that, guys, since Halo Combat Evolved, that tried and true weapon has been in there all the way up until now. And 343 Industries has seen it fit to eliminate the Halo shotgun and replace it with some kind of POS that might or might not live up to the name. And that is what we have to look forward to, guys, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
In Halo, you will not get the single fire 8-gauge shotgun anymore. You will now get a weaker rapid firing shotgun.
I will give them this concession that shotguns in multiplayer are notoriously hard to balance because it is a per pellet distribution of damage.
Yep.
So, depending on the spread and depending on the pellet count and the distance, it's very, very hard to make a shotgun that works consistently. And we've run across all kinds of problems like that, especially in places like Battlefield, where the shotguns can be really, really good one minute and disgusting and awful the next moment. I will give them that. But the 8-gauge pump-action shotgun is an institution.
It is iconic. In Halo, you have the assault rifle, the pistol, and the shotgun.
Yep.
Like the trifecta. The rocket launcher. But the normal weapon trifecta of Halo has been those three. Sure, they added the DMR later. Sure, they added the laser and a bunch of other weapons as they in the needler and all that. But the trifecta, the beginning, the genesis, Halo Combat Evolved. They are purging the shotgun.
Oh, well, I mean,
we'll just have to live through it.
Okay, I guess.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. These are the times we live in.
Too bad. You know, honestly, I thought since we were coming off of 2020 that you were about to tell me that like Joseph Staten has died or something like that.
Oh God.
And I was much
I don't
more
have
worried.
News that sad.
I was much more worried than I should have been. But yeah, that's still not great.
Not great. That was it. That's my 343 news.
It hurts.
It does.
Vass, do you have any shotgun retirement news to provide?
I don't have any shotgun retirement news to provide, but I do have some, let's say, legendary armor births to divulge.
Legendary
on the upside.
Births?
Is I'm sorry. That's
additions.
No, this is a hard segue, guys. I'm sorry, we haven't been potting in a while, but People Can Fly and Outriders are starting to ramp up their marketing a little bit because they've pushed back the game's release. It is now going to launch on April 1st,
Yeah.
2021. There will be a demo for all platforms, excluding the Switch, of course, on February 25th. And this past week on Twitter, they've showcased the 4 legendary armor suits that you can get in the game. And they look pretty sweet. I still can't get over for myself personally, knowing the kind of gamer that I am and the things that I like to do in games, how enamored I am with the quote unquote tank class in this game, the Devastator class. Like,
Yeah.
I'm all about
Yeah.
it. I am so shocked
Yeah.
by this. I'm usually like the mobility ninja person.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But the new what are they called? So the
Yeah.
Pyromancer armor is called the Reforged. The Devastator armor is called Death Proof, and it looks pretty freaking sweet. The Trickster armor set is called the Chrono Suit, and then the um, Technomancer is called Torrential Downpour.
Interesting.
And that one, it looks like it has like a duster jacket, which I'm all about. Um,
Styling.
you know me.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, styling.
But it's looking really cool. I am super excited about this game. I'm glad that they pushed it back if they felt like they needed to push it back because I'm so tired of disappointing launches.
I think you and the
Um
rest of industry are also disappointed
Yeah. I
of
mean,
games like that.
we've seen a heavy, heavy, heavy hand start to fall with all this after so many disappointments, such as things like earlier on Destiny, and then
Yeah.
Anthem,
Anthem.
and
Yep.
Andromeda,
Oh yeah.
and now Cyberpunk, which is facing
Oh boy.
not only 2 class action lawsuits but government pressure to fix their game.
Yeah, we'll get into
mhm.
that.
It's I'm hoping that the industry as a whole has a little bit of they soul search and they reform and they make it so that that kind of work, which has been proven over the last few years to not be efficient or capable, to change up their business model. Whether or not that will actually happen because of companies like Activision and EA, among others, like they are the top of the list, but they're by no means the only ones that are doing this kind of shitty thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, they need a change. The industry
Yeah.
as a whole
I
needs a change,
think
I think.
on some level you can point to Final Fantasy 15, although I wouldn't equate their launch to any of the ones that you've that you mentioned before. But can we go back to the D word real quick? The first offense, the
Ah,
bad name.
yes.
Destiny.
Destiny.
Destiny. Yes, I keep on harping on that game, and though like I've flogged, Anthem lovingly, like a proud
Lovingly flog
mistress.
Anthem.
Yeah.
Oh my
This
goodness.
hurts
I
you
hope they
far.
have a
This
safe
hurts
word.
me far more than it hurts you.
um, I do want to go back to that one real quick because, and just want to say it's a reason why us as fans, even if we enjoy a game or enjoy an experience but see issues, we have got to be vocal about those issues, because if Destiny wasn't given a pass, and if they could say like, oh, the player base will be fine with that, I sincerely believe that those other games would have come out in much better states. But because
True.
Destiny got the pass, it was like, okay, well, this game came out half finished, our game can come out half finished.
Yeah. There is market
It just
precedent
saddens me
to.
that the bar was intentionally set low, and they were fine with that. Like the
Well,
pride in game making almost kind of went down from a management perspective.
I don't think that is entirely correct from specifically a working developer standpoint. The people that work on the game are in a
That's why
different
that's why I said the management standpoint. I
are
didn't
in
say
a
the developer
different
standpoint.
situation than the people that call the shots in the company. and
Correct.
the ones that call the shots are not the ones that take the heat, and it's really bad on the people that chose to making video games their passion and their dream, and they get into it and then are immediately kicked in the balls because of all of this. It's not good, you guys. And now I'm rambling. Somebody help me.
No, no, this is good. This is good. This is good.
Thanks. Well, that's all. That's all I had to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that kind of circles us into another topic, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
You can't see me squinting my eyes at someone to fill in what topic this could be.
Do I need to whip out my neon sunglasses and like sip on my vapor drink now?
No, but I'll go ahead and segue us into something that's really quick while we go before we go on to our next real topic. For all of you PlayStation Plus people out there, there's a new list of games for February. So let's run through those really quick.
Okay.
PlayStation Plus games are going to be Destruction All Stars for the PS5, Control Ultimate Edition for the PS5 and PS4, and then Concrete Genie for the PS4.
Oh, cool.
Concrete Genie.
I played Concrete Genie. It was a lot of fun. It's a lighter game, but it's actually very, very beautifully crafted, great music, and it was just a really fun experience. So if you're looking for like a good light gaming experience with some heart, I would recommend Concrete Genie. Did any of you guys play Control?
I did not. That was one of
No,
the
I did
games that
not.
all of the like reviewers and journalists went crazy about, but I don't think many people actually played.
No, it didn't do very well, contrary to
I
the upselling that was happening on it.
I do have a friend who had somehow magically received a PlayStation 5. I'm pretty sure he sold one of his kids for it. And so he's been playing it on what I call the PlayStation Criterion Collection.
Uh-huh.
Loved it. Tried to recommend it to me. I was like, well, if it comes out on the PlayStation for a PlayStation Plus game, I'll give it a try. But it's supposed to be a really unique, really head trippy, fun game. So I might try it out.
Sure. I'd love to hear how it goes.
The Ultimate Edition includes the Foundation and then the AWE expansions for it. So it has all of the expansions that they've done for the game.
Cool. That's rather nice of them. So what's the what do you call it? The other topic that we wanted to conquer?
Well, I think it might have already been beaten to the ground a bunch, but Cyberpunk has been trying to come out with patches to fix its game and the train wreck that it was at launch, which seemingly seemed to fix quite a few issues and introduced other game-breaking issues, and then recently patched those. So it's still rocky for Cyberpunk, all things considered.
I think it'll be a good
Now,
game in 6 months.
yeah, I honestly think it will too. But right now, it is still in the rocky phase after patch was it 1.1 or
Yeah,
1.2?
1.1.
So yeah, it's still got a little ways to go. They're fixing pretty big egregious problems that were occurring at the end of last year, but still breaking a few other things and testing a few more things. So it'll, like you said, I'm pretty sure in about 6 months it'll be a solid game.
Yeah, when they release their first DLC, which I don't know when that will be, they've absolutely demolished their roadmap for when all of that is going to
Oh
come
yeah.
out. Um,
I
yeah,
think it's one of
and
those
then
it'll get here when it gets here type things, and as long as you're not chomping at the bit for it, it's going to be fine. And if you are chomping at the bit for it, don't, because there's too much volatility going on. Just be patient.
yeah, I agree. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it, other than that's
Yeah,
where we
that's
stand.
pretty much it. Yep. The news has beat that into the ground so hard, there's probably no reason to really go on. Um,
We got anything else, or is this going to end up being a really short podcast?
it could. A relatively shorter side. You tend to go on the longer side, so short ones don't hurt.
Yeah, they're not bad.
There's always more news, guys. There's always more news.
All right,
Yes, but
do you have something to throw out there that we can munch on?
Yes, I do. And we very briefly talked about this in our thread, but it bears repeating.
Okay.
Are you guys ready to get your arguments on?
Oh
maybe.
no! Yes.
The famed comedian slash actor Kevin Hart
Oh
has
Yeah.
no!
officially joined the Borderlands film, and
Oh
he
my
will play
god!
Roland. He will be Roland in
Why?
Borderlands. This
Fucking
is your
why?
topic.
All right,
Tell me
listen.
why he was selected, why he's not the right choice, or if he could be the right choice.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Before we start, I must say that before Vast posted that in our thread, I saw the news of that the day previous and was so disappointed that I did not put it in the thread myself.
Because it was just that disappointing.
Yes.
Okay, so we got to talk about why it's disappointing, uh, why they think it will work, why it won't work, or vice versa, and then who would we cast?
For Roland?
Yes. So Scorch, I'll start with you.
Okay. So, unless they're planning on doing like a head swap like they did with Captain America in the first Captain America movie, where they have like Chris Evans' head on a tiny body, and in Borderlands they put Kevin Hart's head on a gigantic body. I don't think it's really like his stature's not gonna. It's not.
Yeah,
Gonna,
he's about a foot and a half under where he needs to be for Roland's height.
yeah.
He
Second
doesn't
of
have
all,
his demeanor.
yeah, the demeanor is not there. I understand that they want to.
Like the comedy angle.
I
They
feel
want the
like
comedy
they
angle.
want to hike up that same kind of comedy. Oh, Bass is in a mini emergency. Okay, well, we'll talk through it. His stature is not there. I think they want to go for the same kind of comedy that Borderlands portrays, but I don't know if Kevin Hart is specifically like that kind of like comic at all.
This is, in my opinion, it's like Hollywood being slightly tone deaf to what the game actually is, and having not played it, they're like, "Oh, it's a game that has lighthearted, slapstick, good one-liners. Oh, so we just need to put somebody comedic in it," and like that's their like one-track mind on it. And it's like, sort of true, but not the whole picture. But they put their blinders on and they just went the comedy route, and that was it.
Yeah.
So that to me is just sort of a they didn't quite actually get the whole picture or didn't sit through the whole meeting on that pitch.
Didn't see
And
the whole meeting. Yeah.
yeah, and so now we're stuck with someone who, like you said, we don't have the demeanor, doesn't even have the stature, doesn't have the persona to do it, but he's just gonna do it anyways, and they're gonna make it work. So I see that, like that to me, that's a problematic casting, because all the stuff, not saying Kevin Hart is a terrible actor, but
No.
all the types of movies, the types of acting he does do not mesh with the character he is being cast to be. He is out of place with that type of casting.
The comedy that comes from Roland is because he's an oblivious, straight-laced soldier in this weird, bizarro world.
Yes.
And
yeah,
Kevin Hart, I don't think, has ever played a straight-laced character, to my knowledge.
No.
So,
No.
like, what's the deal? How are you gonna How are you
The
gonna
I
do
think there was
this?
a movie, I didn't even watch it, where like him and The Rock are cops or something like that, and he wasn't even straight laced in that movie. So for God's sakes, if you're trying to be like a law enforcement and you're not even straight laced, like I mean, come on, his whole persona, his entire being is comedic relief and slapstick and one-liners. So I hope they don't do a disservice to the character of Roland by some of the kind of acting that he is known to do.
I
And
mean,
again, not against Kevin Hart, he is just miscast for the type of role
I
that he is to perform.
I don't want to say that Kevin Hart can't do it. I don't want to typecast him into being like a one-trick pony. He might be a really, really good actor. He just hasn't been able to flex his like more dramatic muscles. Not that Borderlands is going to be a dramatic movie, because how could it? But it's gonna be like a funny neon-colored Mad Max is what I am thinking this is gonna be. But
Uh,
yeah. And as for who I would cast in that, if I had the choice of anyone to cast in that, and I had a time machine, I would cast Blade 1 era Wesley Snipes.
I knew it. I knew it. I was like, he's gonna pick
Yeah!
Blade. He's gonna pick Blade. Damn it.
Because it's perfect, isn't it? Like, I think Wesley Snipes would be a great.
That he would. I would not smirk at a casting by him for this character.
Yeah.
But like, since they've cast Kevin Hart, I wouldn't even be opposed to frickin' Terry Crews playing this
Terry
role.
Crews would be good, I think.
Terry Crews could absolutely be the serious Roland that the role calls for. He's got the physique, he's got the demeanor that can flip back and forth between joking and serious. Like, that's almost a perfect medium. Because if they wanted him to do a funny role, he could do it. If they wanted him to do a super serious soldier role, he could also do it. So like, I I just see that was like the. I'm sure there's many more. Like I'm very bad at remembering movie actors and names, but like that's just one of the runs right off the top of my head. You could absolutely get Terry Crews to play that role.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that's a good pick.
Let me take a look see here while there's like one more actor on the tip of my tongue and I cannot remember it right now. Let me think here.
I think for funny shits and giggles, they could cast The Rock to do it.
Wait, what did you just say? Did you say The Rock?
Well, that was like the
not my
third
first
suggestion.
choice, yeah.
Okay.
So, just to recap, Scorch's choice was the actor who played Blade.
Yeah, Wesley
You- you-
Oh,
Snipes.
Wesley
just-
Snipes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went a slightly other direction because Wesley Snipes is like super serious, so I could definitely see him playing that role. I was like, dude, even friggin' Terry Crews could play that role because
Mhm.
he can be the serious role and he can also be the hilarious comedic role all mixed into one. Like a pretty healthy balance in my opinion.
All right, so
Uh,
here's mine. Same age range as there. But Anthony Mackie.
Okay, yeah.
All
right.
He's played the Falcon in the Marvel series, and he's got a new film on Netflix
Yeah.
right now where he's like a cyborg. I don't know if you guys have watched it yet, but it's got some pretty cool action sequences in it. It's pretty
absolutely.
cool.
Or here's another one. Jamie Foxx. I could see him playing it.
Jamie Foxx could do it. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name. Who is the guy that played Finn in Star Wars?
Oh my gosh, John Boyega.
Yeah, I think he could do it too.
Although I probably butchered his last name, but yeah, he could totally do it.
So what's
I
your
just
take?
feel like all of those choices would be a little more fitting to the role
What's your take on it, Vance?
than, yeah.
Probably following along with what you guys said before. I think they're going for one name recognition, like they needed a big name to kind of anchor, and Kevin Hart is still one of the biggest, more profitable comedic actors out there. His films, even when he was going through like some of his controversy, have made bank, especially his films, you know, of course, what that he's done with The Rock. But and so he's kind of sidestepped himself into like a charismatic action film star, even if he always played the nebbish type of person in those situations. So like maybe he's thinking that this is his chance to be an actual action star in a film.
Mm-hmm.
Um
But how are you gonna
and
make up for the fact that he's like 4 foot -2?
I know,
CGI touch up.
I
CGI
don't think
touch
they're
up.
going to do it. I think they're just going to play it straight. Or
Oh, that's gonna be
or
gritty.
I don't know about that.
or and
You've got to
like
do something.
this is no way me predicting what's in the film, except for I totally am. They could shrink Roland.
Oh, to make him like tiny, like Honey I Shrunk the Roland kind of deal?
Yeah, something like that.
That I don't know.
I'm just saying that it is not outside of the realm of Borderlands humor for something like that to happen.
I mean, that's true.
But I don't want them to try and make an attempt at Borderlands-esque humor to change Borderlands itself. Like that
Mm-hmm.
that seems like humor used in the wrong way.
Mm-hmm. Look, this is just me saying that it's something that I
Yeah.
could see being a part of the script,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah. They
why
might.
people should call me
Hollywood.
to be a script doctor. You know my name. It's Vast Empires. Give me a call.
Script doctor.
I'll fix your script. I'll be the new Carrie Fisher.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
what if they're gonna pull like a Godzilla 2000 Bryan Cranston kind of thing and like have him in like only flashbacks or the very beginning of the movie, because canonically Roland is dead in like the video games.
In
Yeah.
the universe. Yeah, and then again, it's like where is this going to be taking place? It's right now it's just called the Borderlands film. So is it taking place during the first game? Is it supposed to take place between the first and second game? You know.
I don't think anyone really knows yet. They've just
Yeah.
Yeah.
announced, "Hey, Borderlands game. Here's a couple actors," and that's it.
Didn't they
Yeah.
like the first name that they snagged? Wasn't it like Charlize Theron as Lilith?
For yeah, she was the first actor that was announced as having a casting for.
I mean,
Oh no. It was Kate Blanchett.
Oh yeah. Kate Blanchett. Boy, that's
Who's going to be Lilith.
man. Like what? I don't know.
Well, she was Galadriel.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that she's gonna be bad, and she certainly has the cheekbones for Lilith. But like,
She does, doesn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. I think she's like a very good choice for that role.
yeah, I mean, if they're going for name recognition, that's kind of like all you need, or at least in my book.
Pretty much.
I don't know.
It's still a weird choice, but it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna watch it regardless. You know,
Dude, since you brought up The Rock, if The Rock was in it, I see him playing Brick or a Psycho. Like, those would be the only two characters I think I could see him cast as.
Wait, Rick?
Brick.
Who am I like missing somebody in my Borderlands lexicon? The underwear guy?
Brick.
Oh, Brick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Brick is different. Okay.
Yeah.
And so here's the other thing, like, you know, they may not. There is a really good chance that The Rock would make like a minor appearance in the film, because Kevin Hart has made minor appearances in some of The Rock's
His
films,
yeah.
Yeah.
like the criminally underrated Hobbs and Shaw. Kevin Hart made an appearance there. They've done a bunch of films together. Their press junkets and like Snapchat feeds and Instagram lives and stuff like that, when they do those films together, are honest to goodness hilarious. It's great promo. So, and if it's something that's hidden, it's always fun after the fact when they do those kind of things together too.
Yeah.
So it'd be great marketing on that end. So I would be really shocked if The Rock doesn't make some kind of appearance, right?
Yeah.
Quick couple seconds on some character and then gone. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know who would play a great Brick. and that's Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar.
I don't know him.
He was an MMA fighter for a really long time, and then he got thrown out, and then he went to the WWE, and now I don't know what he's doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He definitely has the face of Brick.
Oh,
He
yeah.
could pull it off. Oh yeah.
And he can absolutely scream like Brick too. I know that he can.
Well, considering he's done WWE, he's used to yelling. So yeah, he could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that very much could yeah.
Is there anybody else
So
that we want
that
to cast in our own Borderlands movie here?
You know what? If we're just getting big names of people, I would hesitate. Well, no, not with no hesitation. I would say Ryan Reynolds as Axton if they're going a Borderlands 2 route.
Okay.
If they just have people like making appearances in the background.
Uh-huh.
I'm still a Ryan Reynolds fan. I think his humor is funny, and I like his fast talking like stick.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think he would be a pretty interesting Axton. What about you guys?
I would agree with that. I'm just trying to rack my brain trying to figure out who would play Maya.
She's my favorite. That'd be hard.
Yeah. Really
what
good.
about or even what's his name, the sniper? You could probably cast quite a few people as him
Mordecai?
though. Yeah, Mordecai. I feel like there's quite a few choices you could pick for Mordecai.
Cheech Marin.
What's the guy who played Cajun Andor?
I don't know.
Hold on. He's getting his own show and I don't know his name. Diego Luna.
That might be good.
Yeah. Cajun Andor from Rogue One. Just putting it out there for people who are not as big into Star Wars as I am.
Yeah, I could see him doing it.
I don't know how busy his schedule is going to be, or whether or not he's chained to the gigantic statue of Michael Mouse now.
There's that possibility.
Well, speaking of Michael Mouse and the gigantic chains and Star Wars, this is another thing that was in our thread. Ubisoft announced that they are in development of an open world Star Wars game.
Yes, that's true.
Yes. EA lost the exclusivity that they used to have on Star Wars.
I don't know if it's them losing it. I think it's just the exclusivity window is over.
The exclusivity window is over, and it appears that there was no attempts to negotiate it further. Meaning, I think Arcadis is right there. Huh?
Would you negotiate it further? Because I wouldn't.
I wouldn't if I were Disney. We talked about this a lot.
Make business
every
sense.
time I mention Disney and EA and how EA just dropped the football and then like went the opposite direction and scored
punted against
the,
themselves.
It was just
like they offside punted against themselves. Like
when it came to the Battlefront series, like both entries, that should have been a slam dunk of money.
Yeah,
should have been,
and it wasn't, especially on the second one. And I understand, like we went back and we played the game, and it really had improved, and it was fun. But it should have been like that at launch, and it was not.
Well, from what I understand, it's doing pretty well. Like when it was recently put up on Epic Games as the free game of however long Epic Games does that, it scored another 19 million players. So it's going strong, but it's in no way representative of what I think Disney wanted to do with Star Wars IP in the video game universe.
Or, and this is really important, because like having people play it isn't, when it's free, is completely different than having them purchase that game. That's a huge loss in revenue, right?
That's true.
And I'm sure there may have been microtransactions to make up for that. But like from the front gate, in Of course, I am not a contract lawyer. I do not pay attention to that stuff. I hate it. But I'm sure there are some type of revenue clauses that are written into whatever deal that Disney and EA had, right? And
Like, you'll
so
produce so many games for us over this amount of time, or
you'll produce so many games of this, whatever of time. Disney stands to make X amount of money from these games. If they do not make X amount of money, there is a penalty fee. Like there's got to be some kind of performance guarantees
yeah,
like built into those kind of things. And we don't know if EA made it, made those guarantees or not, but and if they did, how much did they have to pay to Disney,
yeah, that's true.
right?
It's
Yeah, we
just
don't really know the
And
full deals, the
it's
full
just
details, the
not good
deets.
business, you guys. It's not good
Mhm.
business.
Disness. True. That's pretty much indisputable. It's not good business.
And of course we do know that the last story single player Star Wars game did really well though. The name is escaping me.
It's the one with that red-haired kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the Force
He played
Unleashed,
the
is it?
Joker on the Gotham series, and he was on
PC
that
game.
show with the people
Yep.
that was a remake from a British show.
None of us
It's
played
not the
it
Force Awakens.
because I think
No.
it wasn't Respawn that did it, was it?
Look
I
it up.
think it was Respawn. Aren't they? They are also working on a new Star Wars game too, right?
It's possible. I've been kind of in and out of the news, you guys, and if you can't tell.
Is it Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order? That
That's
one?
the one.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
That's the one. So earlier this month, Star Wars, or it was announced that Star Wars uh, games will be brought underneath a new brand, which is Lucasfilm Games. And then they announced that Machine Games and Bethesda are working on the Indiana Jones games.
Uh-huh.
Ubisoft is working on the open world game. Um, there was one more that was announced. Hold on.
I would be a lot happier with anyone else making an open world Star Wars game than Ubisoft right now. Because I guarantee it's going to be a big ass map with a whole bunch of little fuck off things around it where you got to discover them by climbing up something really tall and looking at things. And I'm not interested, you guys. I'm not interested in what you're slinging right now. You've done that forever, and I'm tired of it.
Do you think they'll slightly reinvent themselves, seeing as how big of a title this is that they're being allowed to work on, or
No,
this big of a franchise? You don't think so?
no, no. They're
They're
gonna do
gonna
the same
reskin
thing.
what they've done and
Yep,
make it Star Wars?
absolutely. It's Assassin's Creed Star Wars. That's 100% what they're gonna be doing.
Oh, I hope they don't. I was hoping that they would do something. Well, I'm going to say something. I don't mean it like this because I don't want them to do the division, right?
Yeah.
But I was hoping
But
for
mechanic like?
well, no, but more of a cooperative like the Bad Batch clone type thing.
Oh,
Okay.
like they'd be going after like a Republic Commando. Um,
Yeah,
kind of
something like
thing.
that's what I was hoping for,
That would be
where it's
cool.
like open world but cooperative, and you were doing something like that. Um, but now that you mentioned, the Assassin's Creed take, I'm kind of like, oh,
The
wait a minute, I didn't
the
think about that.
and Watch Dogs does the exact same thing in a different setting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's what they do, and it's bland and dry, and I'm done with it. I'm tired of it.
I would hope that they took the opportunity to make it, to kind of reinvent the open world for themselves, and maybe do some of the like this is completely different again, and I'm not saying they should bring this into the game, but do some of the imaginative like story sequencing and world building that they did with For Honor, even though the
Yeah.
execution, like for the multiplayer, wasn't perfect. Like I enjoyed that game far more than I thought I would. Like the story mode, far
Mhm.
more than I
Yeah.
Yeah,
thought it was. It was a
story
lot
mode
of
was really
fun.
good for it.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. Hmm.
So something like that, I think.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Call me Ubisoft. I will fix your script. You know my name, Vast Empires Script Doctor.
Scream Doctor.
let's take a minute. Just we don't have to take a really long time, but let's take a minute to talk about the Indiana Jones game. Shall we?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know they were making one until you mentioned it. That's how far beneath the
Because
And
radar that is to me.
they're doing a new film too. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
They are?
That
Oh my
joke.
gosh, what?
we
Yes.
have we
Scorch titled it.
what did I title it? I
I
remember
don't
saying
remember. It was
something.
so stinking funny. It was like, oh,
The
Indiana
Golden
Jones with
Corral
the search for
and-
the Golden Corral.
Yeah.
Still funny,
Oh,
y'all.
that's pretty good.
Still
That's
funny.
pretty good.
God, what was I got? We already have 2 video game franchises that are Indiana Jones games. We got Tomb Raider and we got Uncharted. Those are Indiana Jones
Yeah.
games. What are you gonna do with an Indiana Jones game? Are you gonna have him voiced by
mean-
Harrison Ford? Does he even give a shit about video games?
The answer is probably
mean,
not.
He's too
Probably
busy
not, but the money's
plowing
probably good.
P-51s into golf courses in California to care.
He does like to fly a lot of airplanes.
He does, and that was actually a story.
He's
like
He's
7
an
or 8
aviation
years ago.
enthusiast.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I would say that do we need an Indiana Jones game when we have 2 long-running franchises that have that are made in its image? I would say yes, if only because I mean, for good or bad, there's a whole generation of people who don't even know who Indiana Jones is and doesn't understand how it inspired these games. But here's the thing: if they can't do if they can't do something original with the formula or make it better, then no. But if they can elevate Indiana Jones to having a franchise on its own, I say go ahead and do it because it's a great character and it's unique enough that if they set it in like the past, it would be really cool.
Like 80s.
I could see it
Indiana
going
Jones?
both ways.
Yes, 80s Indiana
Heyday
Jones,
Indiana Jones.
but 80s Indiana Jones was having Indiana Jones in the 50s?
Yes, I think so. Like Raiders of the Lost Ark style kind of stuff.
Yeah. Where you're fighting against Nazis and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
It would definitely sell better if you're able to punch Nazis in Indiana Jones. It's never not a good day to punch Nazis.
I mean, it's sad to say, but we need to remind people that Nazis are the bad guys.
They are the bad guys, you guys.
Mm.
Bleh. Bleh. Bleh.
I haven't actually even watched all the Indiana Jones.
I've seen the originals, but I
never even actually realized there was this many. I knew there were several, but I didn't even know some of these ones existed.
didn't watch
There's 4, right?
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull or whatever.
Oh,
Is that the one with Shia LaBeouf with the beef?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think so.
So,
That one
Indiana
wasn't that
Jones
good.
and the Staff of Kings, Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis,
Those
Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine.
Those aren't films. Are those books?
I don't know. I'm just kind of I'm light perusing here.
It's Ark of the Covenant and
I know the Last
Holy
Crusade
Grail.
is the one that had the Ark of the Covenant.
No, it's
Wasn't it?
Indiana Jones. Then there's the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yep,
Then there's
yep.
the Temple of Doom. Then there's the Last Crusade. Those are the 3 initial films. The Last Crusade had Sean Connery in it as Indiana's dad. If you haven't seen that
Yeah.
one, you need to. It is
I did see that one.
hysterical.
That's the one
their
with the
chemistry
Nazis.
was great.
We named the
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah. And then there's the one that they did in the early aughts as with the beef, and
Yeah.
they are swinging
Yeah, the
through
Crystal
trees with
Skull.
monkeys, and it was weird.
Yeah.
And it also seemed like they tried to tie in ET too. I don't know what Spielberg and Lucas was doing on that one. I really don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Canon, Indiana Jones is a Force user.
Oh God, please don't. Oh God, please don't.
Because ET exists in the Star Wars universe. His race exists in the
Does
Star
he?
Wars universe. Yeah. It,
Since when?
so
It
like
does. I've seen it.
I'm
I've
sorry if
seen
I'm
it in one of
yelling.
the movies.
in like the prequels in the giant Senate scenes, there is a
Yeah.
delegation of ET aliens in the Senate.
Absolutely.
Are
Absolutely
you
there is.
serious?
Yes.
Yes, go back and watch it. It's hard to spot it first, but it's there. It's
Well,
absolutely
first of all,
there.
there's not a go back and watch it. It's a go and
Oh.
watch it.
Well,
reverse
okay,
time.
well, you'd have yeah, I guess you'd have to trudge through it, and then when you get to that part, go, oh yeah, the Senate. Let me actually look for the
I'm
ET
seriously about
aliens.
to call my brother. You never told me ET was part of the Star Wars universe. Oh man, that's funny. That's funny. I hope that one day one of my IPs make bank so I can go back and make some stupid ass decisions.
Oh gosh. Mm.
Hold on. I think there's one more thing that I was going to suggest we talk about. Did we talk about the new patch for
what?
Cyberpunk?
Briefly.
We briefly touched it.
Did
Okay.
you want to talk
Fact
about
that
it some more?
Mm-mm.
It broke a storyline piece, then they fixed it, and it's still on its way to trying to be better.
Yeah.
And hopefully by mid-year, it's a nice playable game.
Y'all still interested in playing it?
We did not,
I was-
however, talk more about the shortage of PS5, Xbox Series X, which is still ongoing, which
Hit
we
that
still do
one.
not possess.
Yeah.
Hit that
And
one.
at this point, based on how many games are still going to be coming out for the PS4, I am in nowhere near the hurry like I was when I got my PS4 to get a PS5. And I sure as heck ain't feeding any of those scalpers. Those people can starve.
Let me tell you
So-
about scalpers right quick,
Tell me about them
if
scalpers.
you don't mind.
Please hit it.
Like every once in a while, I go through the internet at no particular time frame, and just go through all the various websites that would have a PlayStation 5. You know, I hit Target, I hit Amazon, I hit Walmart, I hit GameStop, I hit Best Buy. You know, just to see, you got any in stock? No? Okay, I'll try again in like a month. I
Hit
don't
the
know.
roulette.
Yeah. And so this week when I got to Amazon, there was a little something different about it, and it is that Amazon itself says it is sold out, but you can buy it from other places that are selling PlayStation 5s through Amazon.
Uh-oh.
So I was intrigued and clicked on that tab to find probably a dozen scalper groups that are selling PlayStation 5s for over $1,000.
Mm-mm.
And
It's not worth it, guys.
And
It's not.
It was a
Respect
stack.
yourself.
It was a stack of people that are like, well, we are selling the PlayStation 5 for $1,076, and then the next one
Oh
is,
my gosh.
well, we are selling the PlayStation 5 for $1,075, and then the next one is like, oh yeah, well, we're selling it for $1,074. Like, there are a dozen of them that are doing that. And
Just no.
that's where we're at.
Just-
That's where we're at right now.
Yeah, don't do it, guys. Just hold steady, be patient, and you'll get yours.
Yeah.
Like those game stocks. Just
Yeah,
hold.
be like the game stocks. Just hold steady, guys. It's coming.
Just
It's happening,
hold,
right?
and then
It'll
the
be
market
just
will be
fine.
flooded, and then you can get it for the price that it is valued. which is
Yeah.
not $1,000.
Yeah, and
God, no.
moreover, just like waiting for the price to be what it's supposed to be. Don't feed into scalper culture, because that
Mm-hmm.
makes their business model viable,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah,
will
we can't do
perpetuate
that.
the movement. All right, don't do that. Stupid.
Ugh. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
weird.
that's about it for that.
Shit's
Yeah, it
weird,
is.
yo.
It's that's just more of the tailings coming off of 2020 still rearing its head around, and we're like, yeah, you can stop that now. It's
Yeah,
over. We're done. We're
absolutely.
done with this. Move on.
But
Ugh,
I
those
don't
people.
I don't have anything else to.
That's why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say to y'all.
No.
You know, I think that's it.
All right.
That
Well,
wraps up current events for now.
if we're done, I guess I can take us out, unless one of y'all wants to take us out. Okay, I'll take us out. Here, be quiet. Unless you were about to.
Sure, why not? This has been a podcast with the Triumvirate. Thanks for joining, folks. Listen for next
Right
time,
back.
and we'll hopefully talk about something interesting that will be for the latest news, latest games, and that's all for now.
Yeah. You can follow us on all the various different kinds of socials, though I don't know entirely what that's gonna do for you, since we don't do shit on any of them. We simply exist as private citizens in a collective. But yeah, that's all we got. We'll talk to y'all later. Eventually, when I'm able to get to the YouTube page and end it. Bye.